Today, we are going to do something that not many people will be aware of.
No, I certainly wasn't aware of it, and I know almost all of the people involved.
We were alive when this was on, and yet nobody has memory of it ever happening. This is the 1995 BBC One. It's often billed as a sitcom.
It's really not a sitcom, is it?
It's a sort of comedy drama. Or just a ham-fisted drama.
It's a knockabout drama, isn't it?
Yeah. It's called Rumble, and it was a 6-part series about life in professional wrestling. Written by two guys who had clearly no knowledge of either professional wrestling or what it was like behind the scenes. It ran in 1995. It went out on Saturday nights at about sort of early evening slot.
On BBC One?
On BBC One. And it went out not like in the summer when it's dead. It went out like in May.
Yeah.
I mean, how does nobody remember
did we miss this?
Rumble? They also put it on at a time when British wrestling had never been deader. And also when American wrestling was really in the doldrums. And so the BBC are like, now is the time for a primetime thing about wrestling, a sport that literally no one worldwide cares about anymore. And here it comes. This is very much the sort of show that is what most people think wrestling is like, which is a stupid, worthless sport, largely populated by people who are medically cretinous. The whole thing, it's like it's been made by a local amateur theatre group, from acting to setting to staging to filming to writing.
I'm coming after your crown, Enston. By the time I finish with you, lad, I'll be using your bum to park my bike.
Radio Bullring.
The only thing I can think watching it is somebody at the BBC would have said, this is about the working classes.
Yeah.
It's also about Birmingham, set in Birmingham. And the working classes will love this sort of thing. I thought it was useless. I thought it was awful. But the poor people of Digbeth and Stratton Stoney will undoubtedly take this to their simple rural hearts. It's really confusing. It was written by two guys called Tim Amara and Al Hunter Ashton. I mean, Al Hunter Ashton
jobbers?
doesn't have the biggest CV.
Right, okay.
Didn't really go on to do anything massive. I did check out his IMDb, and there is one thing on there which I think is quite iconic, and I've already forgotten what it was. I mean, he didn't do enough work on this show. I'm not going to do enough work on it either. But it does star Brian Glover.
Yes.
And Brian Glover is a really important figure in British wrestling. And he was known for his sort of like bellowing voice.
Right.
He had catchphrases. Ask him, ref, was one. And the other one was, how about that then? You know,
How about that
great big Yorkshire broad man.
You can travel the length and breadth of the land and you'll not find a finer restaurant than this one. That's my opinion, and I'm sticking to it. And you'll not find one that gives you better value, I'll tell you that for nothing. $1.65, there's a special lunch, and I'm having pigeon. There's anything you want here, the most exotic dishes.
But what he'd done really over the years was he knew how to connect with an audience and a camera because he was used to doing it through wrestling.
Yeah.
It didn't work for everyone, but it did work for Brian Glover.
Hey, Red, what's this about this fella who's put these ferrets down his trousers?
There was on television about a bloke putting them down his trousers. We've had them down for donkeys.
Watch this.
Anyone you want. We're not
Now, I
bothered.
don't want you singing soprano, it's quiet.
We're not bothered. Wish they
There
are.
it goes, look. Anyway, put it away, Reg, and show me your rabbits. Got some lovely
Right.
rabbits, this fella.
Worth saying, this is not even mentioned on his credits in Wikipedia, Rumble. He's also in American Werewolf in London. He's in Alien 3.
Right.
Just thrilling sort of thing. But he's, primarily known as a wrestler. And that is the reason, of course, that he gets given this role. I have a feeling that this would have been written specifically for Brian Glover. If Brian Glover wasn't in this role, there would have been no one to fill this role. This is set in a British wrestling federation called Global Wrestling Federation. For some reason, is not dying on its arse like all the other wrestling has in Britain. Brian Glover plays Johnny Pecs Britain, and it turns out that his tag team partner has died. It comes out that
he's done it. He's
Johnny
botched it.
Pecs was drunk in the ring.
He's drunk in the ring.
When the partner has died. The partner's daughter is still around.
Yeah.
There's a Triple H entrance that happens with a sort of great big, a big beer that's carried by men. The idea that you would have 4 extra people on a British wrestling show. You would have 4 people and one of them would have a mask so they could do double duty. I mean, it really wouldn't be happening like that. But he plays Alan Enstone, who performs as the heel character Lord Byron.
Wonderful. Lord Byron.
In this, he is a posh villain. Very, very posh.
Yes.
He's so incredibly wealthy. He has a butler and his own hot tub.
It's really weird how they mix it all together. It doesn't make any sense.
It's so strange. The mixing together is the worst part of this as well, because the actual script itself is not sure whether Brian Glover wants to be a wrestler or a promoter.
Yeah.
And they're not even clear about whether wrestling is predetermined or real. There's a lot of bits where a match will end with someone pinning and they will show Brian Glover and his family celebrating. Yes!
When he's the booker.
Yeah. I mean, there's other bits where you see a guy who's like a yuppie character with a briefcase and he hits someone with it.
It's IRS. It's fucking IRS.
It's IRS.
It's IRS.
But this IRS character hits someone with a briefcase and backstage they open up the briefcase, it's full of bricks and Brian Glover's like, whoa, well that explains that. If it's rigged, he wouldn't need to put the bricks in there because he damages his opponent. So it's not rigged. So what's going on?
It's so confusing.
What is this? But Leslie Joseph wants to start her own promotion. Okay, so they come in to give Brian Glover his wages. Lord Byron stroke Alan Enstone's
I'm thinking of the guy with the club foot.
Comes in and they go, here's your wages, 50p.
Yeah.
And Brian Glover is like, you what?
You bastard.
So he's going to start his own promotion. Enter Dave Lee Phillips.
Yeah.
Dave Lee Phillips.
Dave Lee
Travis. I was thinking of Dave Benson Phillips, which I would have preferred.
Yeah.
As
with a lot of women that he
touched. They go to local radio. Brian Glover says, oh, nothing's going to go wrong with this. Absolutely signposting, that something will. They have put up posters all around town. They are ready to do their big thing. But then suddenly a screen in the radio station lights up behind Dave Lee Travis. It says on it,
telly.
Call from Lord Byron. I, of course, am a wrestler. One of the things I would like to do, if I can, is install a screen within every local BBC radio station. And if I choose to ring in, I will illuminate the screen.
That's all it does.
It's not known, actually, but this is true. Every single local BBC radio station you go to, they have what's known as a Lord Byron.
It's a Lord Byron screen, yeah.
If Lord Byron stroke Alan Enstone rings in, it will simply flash up Lord Byron is on the line and he will then be able to talk.
He works a bit like Fandango mixed with William Regal.
That's right.
He
looks like Fandango and he's William Regal because he's posh.
Yes.
The other thing is, he speaks like an educated southerner.
An educated southerner.
So
he's a bad guy.
That is very much putting them into conflict. You know who'll like that? The people of Digbeth.
The people of Digbeth.
It's about time they saw a posh English villain, which had never been done. Never been done before.
I'm not afraid of anything, Angel.
Yeah, we'll manage, thank you, Alan.
Well, I wish you the best of luck, especially working with the likes of Johnny Pecs Britain.
What's that meant to mean?
Clumsy old men who kill their partners in the ring because they've had one too many in the bar.
You little git, Alan!
Well, shut it. Just listen to me, you pumped up, jumped up little upstart.
Unfortunately, Lord Byron...
Oh, no.
He's had all the posters ripped down by his henchmen.
He did not have the posters ripped down by his henchmen. He basically explained to one of his henchmen that fly posting is a crime.
That's
and it is ruining Digbeth.
He says, no, I didn't say tear them down. He says, I only said the fly posting was ruining our beautiful city.
Of Digbeth.
He's having a nude massage by a woman now. I do think he is actually nude during that. There's a training session because on the radio, Brian Glover's character has said, Leslie Joseph, we're looking for hunks.
Yeah.
Says, come
it
down.
doesn't matter how big you are, you're a big hunk.
And down come a load of absolute flotsam and jetsam.
Yeah, they're all men you've seen in every sitcom, every sketch show, and they've never found...
If you were going to say, what's the character's name, you go, it's Bollock.
It's Dumple.
Dumpy Bollock. It's Dumpy Bollock.
It's a bit of comic relief in a bottom live show in the 90s.
Exactly that. But, Peter...
Whoa, what?
A bloody bird turns up.
A bloody bird turns up. What?
What's she going to be doing in that ring?
Wrestling's for odd cases, not a little birdie.
She ain't going to be able to do nothing. Why? I bet Brian Glover will humiliate her.
I'm training a wrestling team, darling, not a chorus line. It's brutal and painful and takes hours of hard work.
So does having a baby. I don't see many men lining up for that.
Guess what, though, Pete?
What?
That woman who doesn't seem to have a name, she turns
Never
out
gets a name.
She turns out to be sassy and has got the skills.
And she takes her coat off and she's wearing sports clothes.
Yes.
And like, whoa, this girl might be serious.
She swings the training bag.
Yeah.
The whole point about that training bag is they're like, this is what happens when a 15-stone man runs into you. And he swings the bag at the first bloke, he gets knocked out.
Yeah.
She just steps to one side. Brains. As well as beauty.
Brains. Not selling the work.
It swings back, catches Brian Glover in the nuts. Oh, I deserved that. He says, just as we go, okay, this is interesting. So it's going to be about him going, you know what? It's a bit like Kez. Instead of him being Mr. Sugden, he's the lad. Don't know the lad's name. And instead of a kestrel, he's been given a woman. And he's going to make it work. But Pete, hang on there. They're late with the VAT.
Oh, no.
Oh, no. Another angle that's coming.
Too much stuff in the first episode. That was the pilot. And they went, this could go off in a million different directions. And we're not filming another one.
Yes. Off he goes to see his mate Dumper because he needs to hire a ring.
Yeah.
He's not like No Peace Underground. He
knows he needs a ring.
Have a ring. So for some reason, this bloke has got to build it.
Yeah.
And he's like, well, do you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to set up my own arena in a dilapidated, shitty chicken coop barn.
Without proper licensing.
Get the battery ends out. Get the kiddies in. It's just absolutely gross.
Nonsense.
I want to be a Viking.
Of course you do, but can I book a ring?
If I can be 4.
For what?
4? The Thunder God, 4!
And there's a bit where he goes, I want to be a Viking. Like that. Oh, I want to be Thor, God of Thunder. And Brian Glover goes, you can't. He goes, come on. Ring. And Dumper goes, I better go and get the phone.
I mean, that bit, I was like, that's even worse than what was on like the Upper Hand or something. Or
that gag. Imagine trying to get that gag in today.
Yeah.
That you go, hi Joe, Lycett. Just thanks for giving me the opportunity to write on your new sitcom. So they're at a jeweler's and he goes, ring. And they go, I better answer the phone. Yes, thank you very much. Thank you. That'll do. Oh, Pete. I mean, he brings out all his old mates to test out the new ring.
Exactly.
Because what's happened, Lord Byron has paid off Dumper to not let him have the ring, Brian Glover have the ring. But for some reason, Dumper still turns up because they're mates.
Yeah.
So he's taken the money off that cunt. And then he's still like, I will hang out with you.
Hang out with you.
I don't know.
Even though I've ruined you.
And Brian Glover's like, oh, he shouldn't have done that. But they just build a ring and his old mates are there.
Yeah. They've all turned out.
2 minutes ago, he explained to Dumper he didn't want any of the old blokes coming back.
Yeah.
Without any reason, they're just back.
Yeah.
One of them is Jackie Pallow.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Right,
who was in the 60s and 70s in his matches against Mick McManus. One of the biggest box office draws in British wrestling history.
Yeah.
Just an astonishing, well-known performer, a household name.
It's one of the big 3 my mum knows.
Yeah, well, everyone knew Mr. TV Jackie Pallow.
Yeah.
Oh, but Pete, fucking hell. The chicken barn, it's got
barn.
no loos or emergency exits.
No.
You're going to have to rebuild this place to get condemned. I think you'll find it already has been. Oh, no!
Oh, no, more
Who's
stuff.
at the top of the stairs? Only fucking Lord Byron. He's been there for ages, but he's come to make an offer. A business proposition, if you will. Shall we adjourn? This is rat shit bad. This is such a bad show. He then says, I've decided, for no apparent reason, to come to a deal. I arrange the venue, you pay. I arrange the wrestlers, you pay. And I get to keep 50%. And I didn't think that was necessarily that bad a deal.
No, not as wrestling goes.
Yeah, if you're like producing a show, you are the purse.
Yeah.
Someone's gone out and done all the work. Yep, you do that and you come to a box office split.
Yeah.
I mean, rather than be a thing where you go, oh, he's got him over a barrel, I just sort of went, does sound good.
Yeah, look at the state of this place.
Yeah. Oh, good. And you don't want payment up front. Brilliant. Great. So you are taking it on ticket split. Fantastic. There's no way I can lose money. Wonderful. Thank you. 50-50 split, of course, after expenses. So brilliant. Thank you. Yeah, I appreciate that. Thank you, Lord Byron. They say that's not fair. And he goes, welcome to the infrastructure of commerce. What the fuck is this show?
So we can't live with you, and we can't live without you.
Welcome to the infrastructure of commerce.
Anyway, Brian Glover, for no apparent reason, he's got his new show that he's agreed with this split. It is called Real American Wrestling Association, Raw. Raw, the WWF show, had been going for 2 years by this point. So it's not a thing where you go, oh, funny coincidence, just nicked.
Just nicked.
They have the wrestlers come out, Count Dracula, Would watch.
Count Dracula.
Would watch Count Dracula.
Count Dracula.
The caber tossing champion of the word, Mad Hamish. The Beefy Boys.
Beefy Boys.
Who come out dressed as burgers. And they also mention in the bit where they bring them out that they've got a gimmick where they're the world's biggest ballet dancers. The perfect thing about just stick to one thing. Too many plots. Too much.
And why have they got full beef burger suits on?
Yeah,
that's not wrestling.
If they're
We've
big
never
ballet.
seen that. Yeah.
No, it's done. It's also like the crowd. They always get the crowd wrong in wrestling. They think that crowds are like in computer game wrestling or video games where they're just continually going at fever pitch, and they just sit there and people come out and they start going and it lasts for all the way through.
Have you been watching the
Slammies?
No one mentions the fact that when there's a shot of the merch stand, clearly in shot a little figurine of Bret the Hitman Hart, which I loved very much.
Oh fucking hell though, Pete, we've just had this success.
What?
But Marc Pecs has bet the half of the takings that they would have got on the door, £1,500. She stuck it on a horse, the silly old bag.
She stuck it on the horse.
Fucking hell.
She should have, if she genuinely believed in wrestling as a thing, she could have put it on the wrestling.
Yeah, well, how did
She'd have a bit of an inside track.
How do you put £1,500? That's presumably in like pound coins that you've been given on a horse when you've been at that show. This is pre-internet as well.
You'd have to go down John Joyce / that's very Hartlepool. Sorry, you've gone down Littlewoods. William Hill. Yeah,
there was no Paddy Power back then.
Paddy Power back then. No.
Back then, they were slightly private places, weren't they? They weren't places that were going, come in. Look, it's fun. It's fun. All you've got to do is chuck a few of them coins in. Back then, it was very much like, sport.
Free
you used
little
to work in a betting shop, didn't you?
I did. John Joyce in Hartlepool.
Nice. Is
Little
still
pence. No, it got taken over by one of the big boys.
Yes. Well, I mean, Marc Pecs would have been going to John Joyce with a big bag of £1,500 coins, and she would have gone, I want to put this all on a horse.
And you go, well, this sounds a bit dodgy.
No, absolutely not. 8:30 at night. 8:30 at night, you can do, madam. No problem at all. Let me have a look and see. Oh, yes, he's coming up to the end. He's lost. Sorry, give us the money. She's lost the fucking money. Anyway, the annoying thing is Lord Byron, he wants his money now.
Well,
and so in goes the dead wrestler's daughter, also Johnny Pecs' niece.
Now one of the sidekicks of the Doctor Who and Doctor Who.
That's right. She played Mary Seacole in Doctor Who recently, but she has to go in. Oh my God, and it turns out Lord Byron is an addict, Pete. He's addicted to you, Georgie.
I can't just be a cold, detached business partner, Georgie. I'm your friend.
You are not my friend, Alan, and you're certainly not my partner.
No. But I am an addict.
What of?
I'm addicted to you, Georgie.
There is no character development or logic to this at all.
No, he's just suddenly horny.
But he says, for a single kiss, I will give you my share of the takings. And she kind of goes, no. Think about £1,500 for one kiss. Kiss the fucker. That's so fucking a lot of money.
Kiss, Mark.
They do kiss.
They do kiss.
But God, she starts to enjoy it.
She starts to enjoy it.
Oh my God. And
it's
then
rare that you get to kiss a Fandango / William Regal, isn't it?
It ends with Johnny Pecs seeing the daughter of his dead tag team partner, whose death he was responsible for, kissing Alan Epstone, aka Lord Byron, his promotional villain rival who he's come to an uneasy truce with. And he says, Judas!
Like the boss is sealing another deal.
Judas. Oh, welcome to York and the medieval mystery play. I'm Brian Glover and I'll be playing Judas. What a disgusting end.
Yeah. Players out, Rumble. Come on. Rumble! It's gotta be a Rumble! Gotta be a Rumble! Oh, yeah! Rumble!
And Rumble will be back next week at the slightly earlier time of 5:30, it says. Just magic.